When I first heard we were going to visit our relatives in the village for the entire spring break, I wasn't exactly thrilled. You see, I've always lived in the city, surrounded by tall buildings, busy streets, and the constant hum of urban life. The idea of spending my vacation in a quiet, remote village seemed, well, unappealing. But my parents were insistent. Time to visit family, they said. They promised I'd enjoy it, and that I needed a change of scenery. As the train carried us further away from the city, I stared out the window, watching the landscape transform. The towering skyscrapers gave way to rolling hills, vast stretches of green fields, and tiny houses scattered across the countryside. I found it calming, yet at the same time, it felt so foreign to me. The city, with all its chaos, was my comfort zone. I could feel anxiety gnawing at me the closer we got to the village. When we finally arrived, my parents were greeted with excitement and warmth by our relatives. My aunt and uncle welcomed us with open arms, and my cousins, a few years younger than me, ran around playing with an energy that seemed boundless. I, however, stayed close to my parents, unsure of what to do. I've always been a bit of an introvert, preferring books and quiet activities over socializing, especially with people I barely knew. The village was small, quiet, and completely unlike anything I was used to. There were no cars honking, no crowds of people, and no giant stores or shopping malls. Instead, the streets were made of dirt, the houses were modest, and the air, was crisp, fresh, and filled with the smell of flowers and earth. It was spring, and the village seemed to come alive with it. The trees were budding with new leaves, and flowers bloomed in every possible color. Even though it was peaceful, I felt out of place. The first day passed slowly. My parents were busy catching up with the relatives, and my cousins invited me to join them outside, but I politely declined. Instead, I found a quiet corner in the house and buried myself in a book. I was content staying indoors, avoiding the unfamiliarity that lay beyond the front door. But on the second day, something changed. After breakfast, my uncle announced that he was heading to the fields, and he asked if I wanted to join him. At first, I wanted to say no, to stay inside where it was safe and familiar. But something inside me stirred, a small spark of curiosity, perhaps, so I hesitantly agreed. The field was a short walk from the house, and as we made our way there, my uncle explained that spring was a busy season in the village. The fields had to be plowed, seeds had to be sown, and there was much work to be done to prepare for the growing season. I had never worked in a field before, and the idea of manual labor seemed daunting. When we arrived, my uncle handed me a hoe and showed me how to use it. At first, it felt awkward in my hands. The soil was heavy, and my arms ached after only a few minutes. But my uncle was patient, showing me the right technique and encouraging me to keep going. Slowly, I started to get the hang of it. The rhythm of working in the field, swinging the hoe, turning the soil, became almost meditative. For the first time since arriving in the village, I felt a sense of calm. As we worked, my uncle talked about life in the village. He told me how everything revolved around the land, how the changing seasons dictated the rhythm of life. In the spring, they planted, in the summer, they tended the crops, and in the fall, they harvested. It was a simple life, he said, but a fulfilling one. As I listened to him, I realized that there was a beauty in this simplicity, a sense of connection to nature that I had never experienced in the city. When we finished for the day, I was exhausted. My arms were sore, my back ached, and I was covered in dirt. But strangely, I felt good. There was something satisfying about the hard work, something that made me feel alive in a way I hadn't expected. The next few days followed a similar pattern. Each morning, I would head to the fields with my uncle, and each day I grew a little more confident in my abilities. I even began to look forward to it. The quiet of the fields, the smell of the earth, the steady rhythm of the work, it all started to feel familiar, almost comforting. But the most surprising change came from within me. The more time I spent outside, the more I found myself opening up. I began to talk more with my uncle, asking him questions about farming, about the animals they raised, and about life in the village. He was always happy to share his knowledge, and I found myself fascinated by it all. One afternoon, after we had finished in the fields, my cousins invited me to explore the woods on the edge of the village. Normally, I would have declined, preferring the safety of the house. But something had shifted inside me during my time in the village. I was no longer content to stay on the sidelines, watching from a distance. I wanted to explore, to see more of this world that was so different from the one I knew. So I said yes. We spent the afternoon wandering through the woods, climbing trees, and splashing in the stream that ran through the forest. My cousins showed me their favorite hiding spots, and we even found a small, abandoned cabin tucked away in the trees. It felt like a grand adventure, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of freedom, a sense of joy that I hadn't experienced in the city. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, we made our way back to the village. I felt tired, but it was a good kind of tired, the kind that comes from a day well spent. My cousins chattered excitedly about our adventure, and I found myself laughing along with them, feeling a sense of camaraderie that I hadn't expected. That night, as I lay in bed, I thought about how much had changed in just a few days. I had arrived in the village feeling anxious, out of place, and disconnected. But now, I felt something different, something more connected to the world around me. The village, with its fields and animals, its quiet and simplicity, had awakened something in me, something I hadn't known was there. I still wasn't sure what to make of it all. I didn't know if I would ever fully embrace the village life, or if I would return to the city and slip back into my old routines. But for now, I was content to let the adventure unfold, to see where it would take me. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't afraid of the unknown.